I hear this everywhere, that belief is a key to manifestation, that we create what we believe. But tell me something. Am I the only person who's frustrated with this statement? Because honest to God, in my experience, it's it's BS. Yup, I said it. I call BS. Like, honestly, tell me. I honestly want to know. Who here has manifested everything with their beliefs alone? Like 100% of the time, huh? I'm talking about intentional manifestation. Because for me, no matter how hard I believed in something, the outcome was random at best. This statement that we create what we believe is especially frustrating because according to this logic, it feels like it's all on us, that we are personally responsible for the bad things that happen to us as well as the good. Like if we're poor, we fail to believe we're abundant. Or if we're sick, we fail to believe that we're healthy, and etc. This kind of thinking adds unnecessary guilt when bad things happen and anxiety, like we need to be constantly policing the millions of thoughts that go through our head every second. Now, if we are the sole creator on this earth, then yes, maybe that's how it'll be. In a frictionless world where no energies collide with our own will, then maybe our beliefs alone will be the main determining factor for any manifestation. But we don't live in such a world. There are other moving parts, other factors outside of our control that limits what we can create, no matter how hard we believe. For example, let me tell you the story of how I started a business with big hopes and dreams, but completely failed despite how much I believed in it. After leaving teaching, I decided to start a tutorial business. At the time, I had been tutoring high school students privately for years, and so when I left teaching, I decided to start a business around that. I had big plans when I started it. I was really naive, and I believed with all my mind that I was going to become big and successful. I even believed that I was going to eventually own multiple branches and plus a live on-demand learning platform. And I literally put money where my mouth was and invested a lot into it. I put in all my savings, loaned $20,000 on top of that, and took out tens of thousands of dollars from several cards each. I did all this with abandon because I truly believed without a doubt that I would make many folds back. And that's how tight my belief was about my business. Well, to cut to the chase, 4 years later, I was totally burnt out and under a massive amount of debt. I didn't see a way forward, so I closed the business down. My point to this story is no matter how hard I believed in my business and in my success, there were factors outside my control that got in the way from my desires from manifesting. So no, I don't believe that it's up to us alone to create our reality, or that all it takes is our belief to manifest anything. This line of thinking promotes the idea that somehow our belief alone has the magical ability to influence events at a distance. Plus, it fosters the illusions of control, that we somehow, with the will of our mind, have control over things outside of ourselves. And frankly, it's a self-centric way to look at life, where we're at the center of everything. Do I sound bitter? Okay, wow. Maybe I sound a little bitter. Sorry. But you get me, right? I mean, tell me you're not just a little frustrated about this too. Okay, I'll stop. Anyway, since we've talked plenty about why that line of thinking doesn't work, I want to tell you the method that actually works for me. I use this exact method countless of times. For example, I used it when I got myself out of the mountain of debt from my business and also when I found my calling. What I'm saying is, I've done it over and over, so I know it actually works. For me, it's not about believing that with the power of my mind and thoughts, I can influence the outcome of something in the external reality. No, for me, it's about sensing. It's about sensing what's aligning, where I'm at in the whole flow of things, and aligning myself with it. I would say it's very similar to how animals sense natural disasters before it happens, and how experienced fishermen can smell the air and instantly know a storm is approaching. They know what's about to come because they have developed senses, and so they take the necessary step in anticipation of it without having to see any physical evidence of it coming. Animals run for higher grounds, and the experienced fishermen make preparations for the storm. To the outsider, their ability looks mysterious, but to them, it's just a recognition. It's also how psychics, intuitives, and channelers can tell you what's about to come into your life. These energy-sensitive people can sense the energy you're exuding and how the energies at large are aligning and flowing, and then give you a probability of what is most likely to happen. And this is the sense I use to manifest my goal. I look at who I am being at the moment, the energy I'm exuding, and whether or not that energy is aligned with my desires or not. Then I use my senses to determine whether or not the energies at large are flowing in my favor. If the tide is in my favor, then I know it's time to act. If it's not, then I know I need to wait until the current flows my way. Meanwhile, I do everything I can to prepare in anticipation for that moment. And that's basically what I do. Remember how I told you earlier that I closed my business? Well, the decision to close it came one quiet afternoon in one sweeping moment of clarity when I sensed that it was not in alignment anymore. The tides had turned and the support was no longer there. I was already feeling the effects of the tide turning because it was becoming more and more difficult for me to maintain it. I saw that if I were to continue, the business would die a slow, painful death, and I would burn out trying to sustain it. So after recognizing this, I gave myself 6 months to save as much as I could before closing it down for good. And it was the same kind of sensing that got me through the winter of my life that followed afterwards. It was a couple of years after closing my business, and Jay and I were dirt broke with no income. We were struggling hard with the mountain of debt that was left from my business, and we basically hit rock bottom. But even then, even though things looked absolutely dismal on the outside, oddly enough, I actually felt abundant inside. I felt like I was teeming with untapped potential. So that's when I sensed that there was a misalignment of the situation to who I really was, the energy I was exuding, and sensed that all I needed to do was wait until the tides turned. I knew something more aligned to me, to my energy, was on its way. And sure enough, my senses were right again, because eventually the tides turned and our situation did a 180. We cleared our debt, saved enough money, and even made some investments, and got really good at managing money. This skill came in handy later on when I again sensed that things were aligning for me to walk away from the corporate world. I knew it was time to pursue my calling, so I needed to start cutting back. If you want to hear my dramatic story of how I walked away from my 6-figure job in order to pursue my calling full-time, check out this video. I follow this knowing day to day, mainly because it has proven to me that it works. From small to big decisions, I use this sense to guide me. And that's how I manifest my goals. It's all about sensing for me. Well, that's it for this video. Like always, thanks for being there and hearing me out. Special thanks for letting me vent about the whole believe and you shall receive thing. But I mean, really, like, does that work for anyone? Like, is it just me that it's not working for? I mean, you know what? I'm done. Okay, I'll stop. I'll stop talking about it. Okay, we're dropping that. In the comment section below, please tell me how you manifest consciously. What works for you? Someone commented in one of my videos that they just relax and do what excites them and what makes them happy, and then things align for them. Wow, I mean, what an awesome way to live, you know? Anyway, we all have our little secret recipe to this whole manifestation thing, so please share. Until next time, regards, Ray.